everyone, I'm Joel Greene, and welcome to Curiosity Quest Goes Green, the show that just continues to explore what you, the viewer, are curious about. Now, today we are up in Victorville, California at a materials recovery facility, otherwise known as a MRF. And rather than me reading a letter about what you're curious about, let's meet a couple of you to hear what you're curious about. So let's begin today's Curiosity Quest Goes Green.
By the way, what happens to all the stuff you put in the recycle bins?
Well, I'm glad you asked. First of all, congratulations to all of you who have taken the first and most important step in the recycling process, and that is actually putting the stuff in the recycle bin. Once you've done that, a big truck will pick up all the recyclables you collected at your house or school and bring all those items back to what is known as a MRF, or a materials recovery facility. The truck will tip their loads on the ground where the inspection and separation process begins of all the items that you recycled. By the way, keep up the good work.
I'm here with Ed Hunt at the Victorville MRF.
Right.
Now, Ed, we're standing where?
We're standing on the tipping floor here at the Victorville MRF.
Now, when you say tipping floor, what are you referring to?
I'm referring to that the trucks come in and they tip up and unload their material onto the floor.
Okay. Now, trucks, are we talking trash trucks or just recycled trucks?
Recycle trucks.
Okay.
Recycle trucks. Trash does not come here, although we do get some trash, but it's the recycle trucks from the surrounding community.
Now, and when I look around and when I smell,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to convince me otherwise that this isn't trash.
Right.
Because it stinks.
Well, what that is, that's food contamination. People tend to put food in the blue bins, and what happens there is the food rots. So when it comes in here and it's sitting on the line, you're smelling rotting food. But the blue bins are the recycle bins of our cans, glass, and bottles, and mixed paper and cardboard and those type of recycle items. But people tend to put food in there.
Now, in some areas, it's not all blue bins. Where I live, up in this area, it's the blue bins.
That's right.
Some areas is different color,
Right.
but the idea is that's your recycle bin.
That's
That's
correct.
where all the recyclables go.
Yes, that's correct.
Now, can you give us like a quick list of what you should be putting in your recycle bin? You named a few items, but can you go down a peg list? Ready, go.
Yeah, you can put cans, glass, bottles, aluminum, tin, cardboard, news, and mixed paper.
Not the news like, hi, welcome in, this is Joel Greene.
No,
Not that.
newspaper.
Newspaper, all right,
Yeah.
cool. And what else?
You can put plastics in there, small plastic containers.
What should we not be putting in our recycle bin in this area?
In this area, we shouldn't be putting in food, green waste, animal waste, those type of things.
Yeah. That brings me to another question. I've always, I feel myself struggling too. Like, let's just say I have a box, something in a box, and if I take a milk jug and stick it in that box, and take something else, plastic, and putting it in that milk jug, am I mixing the materials together?
Well, yeah, you are, but they will eventually be all sorted out.
Now, what about large, bulky items?
Large bulky items are taken off the line and put into a bin, and they'll be moved off to a recycler. These bins over here, the red one, is our metal bin.
Okay.
And we'll take the bicycles and the junk metal and dump it in there, and it'll go off to a metal recycler.
Should we be putting our large, bulky items like that in our blue bins?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, but we do get them.
You do get it,
Yeah.
but you shouldn't be doing.
No.
Bulky item, what does that mean? This big, this big, this?
Well, I would think, although my dad used to say anything bigger than the bread box, but I would think a bulky item would be furniture, mattresses, hot water heaters, washers, dryers, big bulky items.
Okay.
Tires, those type of things. Bicycles, those would be considered bulky items.
There's some confusion out there about the electric, e-waste, and the cords and everything.
Right,
What should we be doing with our e-waste?
E-waste E-waste is considered your computers, your monitors, your television sets. Electronic waste tends to be hazardous waste.
Okay.
So that has to be taken to an e-waste recycler or an e-waste collector.
So the whole, I'm going to get some clarification here. Just because it has a cord doesn't mean it,
Doesn't necessarily mean it's e-waste. It's an electronic device.
Yeah.
But, you know, microwaves, your washers, dryers, those type of things, you know, they have electric motors, they have electric cords, but they have metals in them.
metals.
So we'll move that off to metals.
Okay. Now, you just said something to bring up another thought. What about plastic bags? You know, it's funny, I guess I see some, but not as many as I thought.
Yeah, we don't want the plastic bags in the blue bins.
Okay.
They are recyclable though.
Yes.
And we have a plastic bag bin in our drop-off area. They can bring them here.
Okay.
And then we can handle those separately. But those are recyclable. We do take them, but we don't want them in blue bins because they jam up the equipment.
Before we get inside and see the separation process, let's step outside because you kept saying your large bins. I'm looking at these bins behind me here.
Well, as you can see up here, we got plastics up there up on top. There's like a plastic doghouse or a plastic cooler.
Yeah.
Clothes bins, plastic furniture, all that's pulled out and put into these bins. And later on, we'll put them on the baler, we'll bale them up, crush them into bales, and then we'll send them off to a plastic recycler.
Now, it looks like carpet down there. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes,
okay.
we have a bin for clothes and a bin for carpet.
Wow.
So we're pulling off probably about, on the sort line, we're finding 300 to 400 pounds a day of clothes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I was told that we should not be throwing our textiles, our clothing, in our recycle bin.
That's correct.
Okay, where should we be putting our textiles, our clothing?
Well, good, clean clothes can be put into the clothing recycle bins that are around the community. There are companies that do recycle clothes. The thing is, they become less recyclable when they're damaged in the blue bins, or they go into the pile where they smell like trash. So there's a problem with the odor and the contamination and the damage.
And each one of these containers is going off to a...
Yeah, it'll go off to a facility that will turn into something else.
Wow. All right.
Why do you separate the recycling stuff?
Wow, that's a big one. You are probably aware by now that not everything you put in your recycle bin is the same. Let's start there. We put all different types of recycled items in one container so that we don't have 20 different trucks showing up at your house on trash day. Can you imagine if there were a separate truck for cans, metal, paper, glass, plastics? Well, you get the picture. After it is all collected together and brought to the MRF, it's separation time. So back to the original question. Why do we separate? Because each item is different. Each item will go to a different place so it can be turned into a new product. So the job of the MRF is to collect, separate, and send all the commodities or different items to the correct place.
He's taking the recycled materials.
Wow. That's a cool view.
Yep, and he'll be loading into this hopper.
Okay. So this is the one where you say all the large...
Yep, and you can see there's a lot of cardboard in there, there's plastics, there's all kinds of items in there. But it goes through this system first. We call it our commercial system.
Now, why does it have to go through this system first?
Well, so we can break up the big clumps of material.
Okay.
Pull out anything in there that may damage or jam the sort line.
So what items specifically are you looking for? You said bikes and...
We're looking for bikes and garden hoses, backpacks, car parts, things that people put in the blue bins.
You've said backpacks a couple times. Let's get this clear. Where should you be putting your backpack if it's done?
A backpack, because of the cloth nature, they could probably go into the recyclable clothes bin and they would recycle it. So we'd rather them not be in our blue bins, recycle bin.
Okay. Wow. You mentioned it earlier, and I'm gonna reiterate it. There's a lot of cardboard in here.
A lot of cardboard. We do get a lot of cardboard here, and it's very easy to sort, and it's the most common item other than a glass jar or container. Everything comes in a cardboard box. And so it's very, very recyclable. I mean, next to aluminum cans, it's probably the most recycled commodity there is.
Now, I just heard a broken bottle. Is that going to be a problem?
No, it won't.
You sure?
Further up the line, the glass will go through what our fine screen.
Yeah.
And the glass will fall through and go into a glass recycle bin.
It's incredible, incredible. I'm looking up here and I'm seeing people hand pulling this stuff out. I cannot get over that.
And most of the folks I have here are here to pull trash out.
So you're saying, like, these gentlemen right here are mainly pulling out trash?
Yeah, they're pulling out trash, big plastic items, hoses, extension cords, Christmas lights, all those things.
Wow.
All recyclable. It's just that, you know, it'll damage the equipment.
Now, it seems like there's so much cardboard coming on this line right here that you need to get this cardboard out of the way so you can see what else is under there, right?
Right, right. So it's going through a screen that pops the cardboard up, and the small material goes through. It goes on this belt, and it's coming out over there.
Oh, so
all this cardboard is going right there.
Oh, so it's going right there right away.
It is.
Wow, and then that way you can see all the other commodities or items that are underneath it.
Right.
Cool.
Joel, I was wondering, how do you make stuff out of recycled stuff?
In order to make stuff out of recycled stuff, it all begins with you. Well, all of us, really. In order to have new products made from recycled material, we need to recycle at home, at school, or at work, parents. By putting items in the recycle bin, we start the process of it being collected by a truck at our house, taken to a material recovery facility, otherwise known as a MRF. It's sent through an inspection process, a hand sorting process, a long ride on more conveyor belts than you can imagine, then baled up and sent to a manufacturer that will turn the items that we recycled into new products. Like a styrofoam lunch tray from a school, or tires off of cars. I bet you didn't know that something can be done about old light bulbs, glass, plastics, milk jugs. Remember, turning stuff into other stuff begins with us recycling.
We drank our milk for this morning, and now we're going to use these to make your toys.
That's right. These milk jugs were thrown in the recycle bin. They were processed into new plastic, and that's what's in this box you're leaning on right now. This becomes this.
Wow. That by the shredding, the melting, and the pelletizing.
Shred it, melt it, make it into these pellets, which make our toys.
I would have no clue. If you would have handed this to me and said, look at this picture frame, look at the great woodwork that we have here, I would have
thought it was wood.
Absolutely. I mean, even the grain, you have like grains in here. I don't know if we can see the grain, but
It is magical, actually. And people wouldn't know until they really until I tell them this is polystyrene.
this is crazy.
Yes.
I mean, look at that grain. So you put this design on the outside?
Well, there's a machine back there that it kind of puts there's a roller that gives us that scratchy look. Yeah.
So you're taking something. This is the fantastic part about it. You're taking something that was and is a nuisance to a lot of communities.
Yes.
It's this expanded polystyrene styrofoam.
Yes.
And you're turning it into something that literally every single one of us in our house probably have on our walls.
Exactly.
And what is the most popular use for rubber bark?
It's about 50-50, playground and landscape. So obviously it's a great playground fill. It has an excellent fall safety rating. So if kids fall in it, they just bounce right off of it. But also for
I
landscape.
did. I had a little bit of bounce right there. I'm practicing here. You see, I got some bounce up. That's pretty good.
It's a great mulch material. It's a one-time install. You don't have to replace it year after year like wood. It's not going to disintegrate, absorb moisture.
Are there any negative effects of having this on your?
There really isn't. It's basically an inert material, and the color is non-toxic, non-VOC, so real safe for kids and safe for the environment too.
And all of this came from recycling tires.
That's right.
That's so cool. You feel good? I mean,
Yeah.
you
it's
feel
awesome.
proud?
Of course.
Absolutely. This is so cool. Well, thank you.
Yeah, we're really glad to have it in playgrounds or in landscapes and not have it instead in filling up our landfills.
so many people out there are curious about where everything goes or what happens to it. Does it really go to a place? Does it really get recycled? And we actually get to show you here.
Yes, sir.
Do we have more to see?
We do. Shall we look at the process?
Let's go.
At the very end, we wind up with the glass, and as you can see, instead of being white now, the glass is quite clear.
Wow.
And this is ready to go out to recycle.
And that very short assembly line, we've taken a full tube of glass, broken it, removed all the mercury from it, separated the glass, the metal, what else? Plastics.
And the plastics.
And now we have the mercury gone, the metal gone, most of the plastic gone, it looks like, and we're just left with glass.
Yep.
So what are you throwing away here or putting in a landfill?
Absolutely nothing.
Wow. You're taking something that we all use and we're all familiar with, and you're processing it down to where you're reusing every part of it.
Yep. Everything is reused.
Now we should take these glass and go make something with it.
There you go.
Well, worms help the whole planet. Instead of taking all the trash, putting it in the landfill, the worms eat it, turn it into worm castings, which is an excellent plant food, and it's all natural, organic. In a hungry world, you got food for plants, and you're not wasting everything, burying it in the landfill.
By us taking grass clippings and food from our houses or food from school cafeterias or wherever the food comes from, these worms are going to...
They convert it into plant food, and the plants speak for themselves out here, and everybody that tries them knows that it really works good. Plus, we're not wasting. It took Mother Nature a long time to make all this stuff. Instead of burying it in the landfill, nobody gets any benefit out of it.
Yeah.
And this way, everybody benefits from it.
I'm here with John Davis. Now, John, tell us, why is it so important to recycle?
Well, we recycle, because this material has values, and we sell this newspaper, and it gets made back in the newspaper. If you didn't use this newspaper, then someone would have to go cut down a tree, chop it up, pulp it, and make newsprint out of it. All of that early chopping, pulping is already taken care of. So there's already the energy in here, plus you're keeping trees in place and in the forest.
Joel, how do you recycle the caps of the water bottle?
Great question. Recycling the caps off the water bottles is something that is fairly new in the recycling world. As with any other item though, it begins with you putting the water bottle in the recycle bin when you're done with it. Then the process begins as the water bottle caps are separated out from other materials, then sent to a processing center where the bottle caps become the center of attention.
We are out here at Global PET, and I'm here with Nadeem. Now, Nadeem, before we get started and see anything, I gotta know, people are curious, do we keep the caps on the bottles, or do we take the caps off?
Keep the caps on the bottles. This way we can recycle it.
What?
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. I hear that you're supposed to take the caps off.
No, you have to keep it on because it's part of the weight of the bottles, part of the recycling program, because the caps end up being floated and recycled again, so why trash it?
Now, is that everywhere across the country or just with your process?
Well, not just me, but right now the country is more developed in the recycling side of it, and there's more awareness that yes, you can take the caps and you can recycle it and end up having an end product out of it.
So leave the caps on.
Leave the caps on, please. Yeah, leave the caps on.
Okay, so it might be different in your part of the country, but here, we're leaving the caps on.
Yes, we are.
All right, so when you get the bottles, do they all look like this? They're all baled up?
They're all baled up. They first get loose into the recycling centers. Then the recycling centers collects them and take them to a processing yard. Then the processing yard bales them and send them to us.
How heavy are these, each one of these?
Probably an average of 1,200 pounds.
1,200 pounds. You and I could probably pick a couple of these up.
Probably.
Or probably not. Yeah.
Probably.
So once they come here, what do you do with them?
We take them to a bale breaker where it breaks the bales. They become loose bottles. They go through a sortation program where we separate the clear from the green. And then it goes to our wash line where it floats the polypropylene and the labels and the caps away from the PET, since the PET sinks and the polypropylene will float.
Polypropylene are the plastic bottle, right? The bottle part?
No.
Oh.
The PET is the bottom part. The polypropylene is the caps, like this.
Okay.
And the labels, like that. In the old days, they used to be paper. It's no longer the case. Now it's polypropylene.
Plastic, basically.
Plastic. It is plastic. It's all plastic.
We're focusing on the caps today. Does it matter what color the caps are?
Not at all. No.
So you'll separate green bottles and clear bottles,
Yeah.
but you won't separate cap colors.
No, the water does not understand color. It's just gonna float it. The cap's gonna be floated, and the PET bottles are gonna sink.
Let's go check out the process.
Cool.
At the end, what we have is clean bottle caps.
Now, wow. So now I can see all the bottle caps.
Right, where before it was mixed with the labels and the PET, now you can see it's just 100% bottle cap material.
Now, earlier Nadine said that they separate the colors of the bottles themselves. And I asked him, does it matter what color the caps are? And he said, no.
Correct, yeah.
Why is that?
When we're blending them together in the milk process, it actually blends together and becomes a gray material, and that lends itself to a variety of other colors. The obvious one would go black or gray, or if you add some additional color to it, you're able to go other colors as well in the end product.
Wow.
Hey, Joel, how do they make those big bales?
Oh, the big bales? I have to admit, I was a little surprised when I found out the #1 question students asked after taking a tour of the MRF was, how do they bale up all the items in one big square block? Keep in mind, this is pretty much the final step in the recycling process at the MRF before the big bales get sent off to a company that will turn all the items in the bales, like plastics, cardboards, or milk jugs, into new products. But everyone wants to know, how does all that stuff fit into one big block or bale?
Ed, how do you bale all this up? How does the baler work?
Well,
how does the baler make that thing go around?
Exactly.
How do we bale? Everybody wants to know about the bale. Can you tell me? Tell me. You can tell me?
Yes, I will.
Tell me.
Well, we bale by all the commodities separately, and they'll go up this belt and they'll be fed into the baler. And then as the baler chamber gets full, it'll actuate a big compression piston. The piston will crush the material. And then it'll come back, it'll call for some more material and crush some more.
This reminds me of a famous Disney movie I saw when they're talking about the baler.
Yeah, Wally.
Wally?
Yep, Wally the baler.
Was the baler.
Wally the baler, he was baling trash, and because he had nothing else to do, he's building cities and houses out of it. And what we do, we bale this material, and we'll put it into bales, and we'll put it on export containers, and we'll move it off to a mill, and they'll grind it up and into little pellets and make more plastic containers out of it.
Let's go check out the baler. Whoa, check it out.
Yeah. Now we're putting double straps on it because the bottles, they sponge out and they create a lot of hydraulic and it'll bust the wires. So we double the wires up on the plastic.
Now, it seems like you would have to have an enormous amount of pressure in order to compact all those bottles.
Oh yeah, it's crushing at about 150 tons of pressure.
150 tons.
Oh yeah, it's a lot.
Whoa, that sounds a lot.
Yeah. And right now the pressure ram's all the way up and the eject ram is pushing the bale out.
Oh, okay.
So he's got an automatic.
So it's a given that you're going to lose some of the bottles in this process.
And the good thing about this situation is everything you sweep up just goes back into the recycle pile and we run it through again. Nothing gets thrown away.
Now, what do you do with all the bales? Everybody wants to know about the bales.
Well, the bales, they're staged outside, and then we'll call a truck to come pick them up, and we'll load it into an export container, and it'll be shipped out.
So everyone wants to know, where is everything going?
Everything's going to a mill, mostly overseas, where the plastic is made into other plastic items, paper's made into other paper items. And so everything is going overseas to China right now.
Okay.
That's it.
That is where all your recyclables are going.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right.
It sounds like this baler's about to open back up. And
yeah, he's probably going to push another one through.
Yeah, and so we're in the way?
He is.
I got it. Oh, he is. Okay, well, how about you and I
No,
bail?
we're safe.
No, let's bail.
No, let's bail.
You
okay.
stay here. Well, I want to thank Ed and everyone out here at the Victor Valley MRF, or Materials Recovering Facility, for teaching us all about the process of what all our recyclables are going to. And I especially want to thank you, students out there, for telling me what you're curious about. Now, if there's something that you're wondering about, let me hear from you. Go to curiosityquest.org, click on the Send Us on a Quest link, and simply tell me what you're curious about. And who knows, it could be you that sends us on our next green excursion. Now, remember, this is our planet, and it's our responsibility to take care of it. Well, I wonder, have you gone green? I'm Joel Greene, and I'll see you next time.
Where do you put all, why do you, I don't know.
You don't know?
That's it. Where, why, wait, what was it again?
If you'd like to order a copy of this episode or a previous episode, visit us at www.curiosityqueststore.com. The cost is $24.95.